Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have A Small Light. This is National Geographic, not a documentary. It's a drama series, actually. Yeah, okay. National Geographic does delve into things other than science and biology and everything else. They slip into historic items. In this case, a historic drama. This takes place during World War II. It takes place in Amsterdam. And it is a story kind of on the periphery of a story that, if you know anything about the people who've lived and survived or did their best to survive the Holocaust, you know the story of Anne Frank. And this is connected to that. It is not, oh, hey, isn't that a great guest appearance by the character Anne Frank? No. It's this is not focused on her, but she and her family are a major component of this story. At least so far in the first episode. If you know how Anne's story goes, through the diary of Anne Frank, which has been published endless times, I think, over the years, because it's such a personal memoir of what a young girl, 13-year-old girl, experienced hiding with her family to survive their death, to survive almost certain death at the hands of the Nazis. So what we get here is we follow a young woman named Miep Grease. Miep? Well, just call her Miep. Yeah, it's an interesting name. It's M-I-E-P, Miep. She's played by Belle Powley. When we start the story, I'm not going to give you the whole thing, and you might think you know how it's all going to go. This is, by the way, they make it very clear at the beginning, this is based on actual events, actual people, but some characters and some situations have been changed just for dramatic purposes. It doesn't change the overarching narrative or the purpose of the storytelling. It doesn't create an alternate reality that suddenly changes things. No, this is the reality that existed for us not even 100 years ago. That the lives of these people all over Europe especially, but beyond that, that led us into World War II. Because somebody felt that they were superior to others, that other people were vermin, that other people were lesser, that they had to be either removed from society or exterminated. Yes, you're going to watch this possibly, and here, if you watch the news at all, you might hear echoes even today in the language of certain politicians. If anything, for me, watching this, it gave me a perspective of what people were going through at the time when they knew that a certain man was in power. And some of them don't even want to say his name. When this man is in power, and that Germany has been taken, other places are going to be taken. You know what? He wants France. What's he going to do? How long is it going to be until they hit our country? That won't happen. That won't happen. To reach his goals. A small man with an oversized ego. Doesn't sound familiar at all. So anyway, we get a story of Miep, a young girl who's first we start in 1942, and then we suddenly flash back after the first scene to give us a better idea who she is. And in 1933, we discover that she's just a girl. She's footloose and fancy free. She's having the time of her life. She's out drinking all night. She's just getting wild, and doesn't care, doesn't think much about the future. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't contribute much of anything, and her parents are pretty much intent on having her married to her brother. Yeah. I know, she's adopted. Like, technically, she was you'll get that story. But she's adopted, and they're like, oh, why don't you marry your brother? He's running out of prospects. Why is her brother single? So yeah, what are you going to do? Well, she eventually gets a job with a man named Otto Frank. Yeah. You might recognize him. He's Liev Schreiber. He played Sabretooth in one of the Wolverine films. Yeah, but yeah, that's how I know him best. And he's done so much other stuff. That's not even just to call him Sabretooth doesn't do him any justice. He wasn't in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. No, he was the other Sabretooth. But he's playing an actor who appears much older. He's playing a character appears much older than I think he really is. I think he's my age, but he's playing a man that seems much older than him. But I don't know, like balding with a comb over kind of thing. But hey, you know what? He's just this reserved German man who is running a jam shop that sells jam to people, and he takes on Meep as his secretary, and they form a friendship, and she gets to know his family pretty well, and that is where we get this connection to Anne Frank's family. And as everyone is assuming that, the Nazis are never going to come here, when they're proven wrong, things tend to kind of ratchet up. It doesn't all happen at once. 1933 to 1942 is a good 9-year period before things really get out of control. Yeah, and even when it's under control, it's still terrifying. I say, if you have any interest, I like a lot of documentaries, especially about history and about the world and everything else. But I really appreciate historic dramas that aren't necessarily like Pearl Harbor, like the movie Pearl Harbor, not the actual event Pearl Harbor, but where they try to just make it into an action film, or just sort of, sure, we got Indiana Jones, and we got, Inglourious Bastards, and all sorts of things that sort of romanticize the violence of those eras. These Meep and the people she cares for are not action heroes in this. And it may seem like a quiet type of story, but I think therein lies the charm, where you get to see what these people were probably like. Hopefully, it's a good depiction of who they were, based on possibly more than Anne's diaries. I don't know, but this story exists. Somebody survived to tell this story, at least build it from the bare bones of what was available at that time, because not a whole lot of history made it out intact during that era. Unfortunately, for reasons, we kind of know. It just in one episode, it feels like its own movie. Each of these episodes, by the way, this is from 2023. Each of the episodes are about 55, 56 minutes long-ish. And then I think there's 10 episodes. I'll make sure, rather than guessing. It's 8 episodes. Yeah, 50, 56 minutes, 54, 50, 48, 52. That's all over the place. But 8 episodes. While I'm here, I'm going to just add it because I need to see more of this story. I really enjoyed it. It's, it's not all dour and sad and heart-wrenching. Meep is very appealing. She's funny, she's smart, and whoever she comes in contact with is usually better off for it. So, and she might just be that small light, or it might refer to someone else, or many, many other people in this time. If you care about understanding the gradual creep of evil, that could come into our lives. There's so, when you look at something like this, when you look at things from World War II and things, just the Holocaust, all these things, when you look at these things, I sometimes look at it as if it was just an alternate reality story. Oh, what if, as if it never happened, as if it's so far away, it's barely 85 years away, not even that. And it doesn't seem like it could be real, or that it could happen, that there could be people like this. There's one person who has a line in this who says, we don't want to believe that people are evil, and that shows that we are good, but it also shows that we're a little bit naive. And there's still evil in this world. I think this gives some interesting context. So I highly recommend, if you get a chance, this is, it might bring you to tears at certain points, especially if you know the fates of these people already. But it doesn't, it tells the story of these people without, I don't know how to say it, just, it doesn't make it sexy. It doesn't, I don't know. It keeps it real, I think. And yeah, it's not going to be one-to-one exactly as it all happened, as they warned in the very beginning. It's meant to tell a story that's entertaining, which it's hard to tell an entertaining story about the Holocaust or about Nazi occupation throughout Europe. But this is that. It's, you want, if anything's entertaining, it's how you connect with the characters and live through their experience. And there's nothing blowing up, there's no gunfights or anything, at least in this first episode. But when things happen, as quiet as they may be, it's utterly terrifying. It's scarier than any horror film, because it was real. Because these things happen. If anything, these things are just tame compared to the things that actually happened. So I highly recommend this. There's a number of actors you might recognize, but most of this is English actors, and there's some imagine they were German actors, or at least a lot of people who know German, because you'll be reading subtitles every so often on this. But I don't know. I'm seeing like slides here in this IMDb page of pictures of the people and the real photos of these real people, of the Frank family and the actors who played them. And I imagine that might happen at some point in this story. But it shows people's resilience to overcome, to not thrive, but to survive an oppressive regime that is intent on murdering them for who they are, how they were born. It's terrifying that it ever happened, and that it can happen again. And it's happening in smaller ways all over the world right now. Just doesn't get the press. But yeah, it's a little unsettling. So, and that's what makes a great drama. So I say definitely check it out when you get a chance. It is one of the best things I've seen coming out of National Geographic, if not one of the best things on Disney Plus right now. It's not doesn't have any animated mice or anything, or just fun, zippy teenage dramas with songs. No, but you can learn something and you can feel something from this show. So check it out. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 142. That is really close to something I recognize. Oh, well, yeah, we got a bunch of shorts in this section. It's one of the classics. And actually, this is a classic from right around the time this was taking place. Yeah. Yeah, while Hitler was rolling his way across Europe, 1935, Mickey's Kangaroo is playing in theaters in the U.S. So that's what we're watching next. Mickey's Kangaroo from 1935. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.